Alright, so first thing, let's watch this video. Now it's 7 minutes 26 seconds.
Cool.
Okay, so obviously you know that there was a big uproar on the internet, especially through TikTok, more than YouTube. So
You think they're suppressing it?
I think one of the reasons why China or America wants to get rid of TikTok is because America doesn't have access to suppress information through TikTok. And I think TikTok has a reason to put up negative things about America on TikTok. And so for that very reason, the people in charge, I want to say the people in charge, right, are rulers, right, are kings who we call Democrats, Republicans, just the American government, right? These, essentially they're trying to play gods, right? So I think they're unable to suppress information, they can't control it, so they're telling everybody, look, don't use it. It's a software that invades all of your private information. But if you think about it, why wouldn't America be doing that already? And we already had the Snowden situation. It's already been out there. They already put...
That's true. That is kind of true. I like that theory because you're right, they can't. And if anything, they're going to promote the shit that would piss us off, like exposing the governmental shit.
A little bit of competition is good.
Yeah.
You know, and America has never had competition like that. And I'm just saying.
We'll save it for. We'll get into that on the podcast.
Okay, so
just hit play. We'll bring up.
Well, I can reiterate all this stuff.
Okay.
But there's a few things that I do want to point out. I want to preface these things because I feel like it's super important, especially for you, because you don't really follow the Bible.
Okay, but it's good that you'll.
This is all like super connected.
Yeah,
it's so good that it's gonna freak you out.
You could connect shit. It's part one, meaning that there's gonna be multiple of these.
This is exactly that would tell you that there's gonna be more.
Right.
Now, this kid.
I want to see. Yeah, I want to see his sincerity. Like I'll be. You know, I want to hear him talk.
Here's what's really cool. One thing. They landed in his yard. They don't speak Spanish like me. They don't speak what's called Castellano Spanish, which is Spain Spanish. They speak a Indian dialect of Spanish, which is super cool. Which for me, I was like, whoa, that.
You think there's
I don't
you're trying to put a connection there?
I don't know, but
no way.
Like, that's really cool. I just thought that was really cool. But anyways, so this kid says they come into his yard, he sees them.
It crashed or it landed?
Okay.
Because then there would be there'd be disrupted ground if it crashed.
There is disrupted ground.
Oh.
He actually goes out and he shows these fucking things. Like, I'm looking at it as like he's telling everything, like he's being honest. I'm not going in there with a negative mind. I just want to hear the story. Let me hear it all. I'll decide whether it's fake or not months from now. So they go into his yard. He's fixing a car. He's a mechanic. And he notices the noise and it freaks him out. Then he looks into his yard. He says his whole yard goes blurry. He's like, everything is just blurry. Then he hears 1,000 footsteps. After he hears 1,000 footsteps, he sees the creature. And he says he has big eyes and a big mouth with many teeth. He says that the skin looks like dolphin skin, gray, slimy, wet. Then he says that when he first saw it, he could see the eyelashes and the whites of its eyes. But later the eyes started to glow. Now,
I wonder, is there anything to do with like an alien would have some kind of technology that projects something that will make sense to us. Because what if the alien just is an energy cloud, but it knows that our brains can't really like comprehend what that is, so it could, you know what I'm saying, like give you some kind of projection that somehow your brain can make sense of it.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, I don't know. That's just a thought, random thought. As you were talking, I was thinking.
So he sees this creature,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to go up to it, but he feels that it takes control of his mind, and he's unable to move. He gets paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
Once he gets this paralysis, for a few seconds, he first says 10 seconds, then it goes all the way down to 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So he's confused about everything. He's like, and then he's like, but at first I even saw its lashes and its rib cage.
Lashes, like eyelashes?
Eyelashes.
Okay.
And so, and this all makes sense to me, like, I'm gonna connect all these dots. And so, he goes on to tell the person that's interviewing him all these details. And then he says, I wanna go to the back of my yard where I sleep, the doors of where I sleep. There's the French door behind the wall where his bed is. On the floor, they drew an angel,
Mm-hmm.
but looks like a demon. Then they drew a sun, they drew a bush, and then they drew a rock.
This is in the Bible.
No, this is in his house,
Oh.
in his yard.
Okay, wait, does he explain all this?
He does, but
Okay.
but you won't see it. You miss a lot of stuff. This is why I'm saying
Okay.
I need you to pay attention to these things.
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes into his yard and he shows a little cat angel. Then he shows the rocks behind his house and the bush by where they were standing. In relation to the drawing, he shows it. He's like, I don't know if this has anything to do with it. He's like, I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but this is what occurred. So I'm gonna play it and you can see it.
Yeah. I'm sure you have.
Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This is my first video. I'm here to tell you what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I'm gonna try to explain the best of my abilities. This is not a conspiracy theory. I'm not making this story out for clout or fame. I just want to tell you what happened to me and my family. And I know some people are not gonna believe this, but each person is different. So this is what happened to me. Keep in mind, this is midnight and I'm fixing a truck.
I wonder if
in my
Rogan
backyard.
knows about this video.
At this point, I'm only with my brother and I hear something fall from the sky. I turn around, the only thing I see is a big light falling from the sky, and moments after, I feel a big impact and a bang, sort of like a big impact fall. And me and my brother looked at each other
He's
and
reading.
we were scared,
Oh.
but when the impact happened, it was sort of like a shock wave, like an out-of-body experience. So to say, when I tried to look at the object, it was all blurry, not my vision, but only the backyard area. And I hear thousands of footsteps around me, and maybe a couple seconds later, the blurriness was gone. And here's the footage of the body, the police officer's body cam, and here's the object I'm referring to, the light. Video.
Yeah, okay, I seen that. Crazy, man.
Here's
This
a
is
ring
so
camera
bad.
video. You can hear the bang. This is around the neighborhood. So here's the video.
Whoa, what the fuck? I'm
So
sure
when
there's
that
tons of
happened,
those
the only
ring
thing I can
videos.
see in the backyard is a tall creature, probably around 8-10 feet tall, very thin. So I called my dad. He went to the backyard and he saw the same thing, the same creature I saw. He told me to go inside the house. At this point, we all freaking out, me and my family. And here's the video where we were in the backyard area. You cannot see it too good, but on camera, but it's there. Here's the video.
¡Ay!
Oh, man.
Caminaré, me casi le eso.
Did you see this video?
Cállate, no quiero que quede.
I only seen.
Moments after the video, me and my brother went to go pick up my.
No, you gotta get.
Then my
Hold
brother
on,
called me,
hold on.
and he told me shakingly, look behind the forklift. So I look. Keep in mind I'm facing the forklift, and then I see the alien creature. So when I saw it, it was a tall, skinny, lengthy creature. He was a gray, greenish color, and when I looked at it in the eyes, my body just froze. Like the same experience as having sleep paralysis. Keep in mind I'm staring at him, and I look at his whole body, and he has a weird looking feet and a big face, and eyes, and you can see a big
Your
mouth.
brain couldn't comprehend. That's what I'm saying.
And I could hear his loud, deep breathing, and I could see his stomach moving. He would just stare at me. Seconds later, I could start moving again. And I start running towards the house. That's when I call 911, and here's the 911 call.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one beside it, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually weird. I'm terrified with it.
So there's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot, 9 feet, 10 foot. I don't know. They look like aliens to us. Big eyes. They have big eyes. Like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes and.
You're like in shock.
And they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Okay.
Maybe that's like some of the giant skeletons we found.
I'm waiting for the police to come, and you could hear footsteps in the backyard area. And a loud whispering, like you could hear whisperings. We were in the living room area, and you could hear footsteps on the roof. So we waited a little bit for the police. When they arrived, they told me I told them what I saw, and they were kind of freaked out. Here's the body cam of the officer.
Now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What did you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like an old touching top.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your
Now
backyard?
that ring footage was the best thing out of this whole thing.
What I saw right now, I do believe it.
Because
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but
that's an
Metro
unmistakable noise.
So they went in the backyard, and one of the officers pointed at the floor, and it was a perfect circle. Here's a photo of the circle I'm referring to.
Huh. But so it didn't crash
Two
then.
officers came to my house, and one of them started running.
Remember, it was falling straight down.
around the neighborhood.
Yeah, but fucking fuck the earth up, not just leave a little perfect
They're
circle.
taking this call seriously.
So
I think it landed. It couldn't have crashed.
well, it was.
Where's the?
Remember, it's coming down as a light, so it must have malfunctioned. And I'm on a podcast. I was listening to. It's called Mysterious Universe.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about an alien ship that they find this weapon behind an alien ship, one of the ships. They're able to take that portion apart because it's like a 1-unit thing. They attach it to a fighter airplane, and what they're able to do is they're able to aim that thing. It's a laser. Once they aim that laser to the flying saucers or disc or whatever, they malfunction and they drop.
It's like shooting an EP, one of those,
Yes.
electron pulse things. EMPs.
This kid lives behind Groom Lake. He lives closest to Area 51.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Also, that they could have took it down.
I think they took it. I think like a helicopter. Imagine a helicopter. They're like they're trying not to kill themselves, and it's like because you could hear it.
Yeah, but if I jumped off the roof, I could leave an indentation in the grass.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If a ship's crashing, there should be a crater, a legitimate hole, like a pool,
On the
in-ground
rest,
pool.
they still had propulsion.
That's what I'm saying. So it was like an emergency landing.
It was like an emergency
exactly.
landing.
That's what.
Exactly,
That I could see.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to keep.
Because to say crash landed, it didn't crash land.
Right.
It just landed hard.
Emer-
Like it had a
emergency.
malfunction. And then, like, their landing gear didn't come down exactly.
Like that one plane when he came down there. Tom Hanks played that guy. Came down in Huron Lake or whatever.
Yeah.
He had to land it.
Yeah,
got everyone safe. He didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, the Hudson River.
Yeah, there you go, Hudson. So my guess is that okay, keep playing.
Yeah. Let's just keep going. Because after we watch this podcast,
This might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However,
I feel like this would be
seeing it,
the
my
biggest
partners
news.
said they saw it too. Only reason I'm actually
I'm
investigating
going to tell you
further.
why it's not.
I know.
Goosebumps are
It's
freaking out.
a power
He
dynamic.
started investigating and they told me
I'm
his
gonna blow
partner
your mind.
saw a light falling from the sky. He told me he believes it because her partner reported that she saw the same light as me. Now we're walking the front yard. Then the other officer came here. Here's a video of him talking.
I'm not exactly sure why he
It does not feel
felt like
come
he
back.
needed to
Don't
write it
follow us, all
down.
right? Deal with it
He
yourself.
just freaked out.
I ain't dealing with that.
Get us all.
He's not a good talker. He's like me.
So, moment before
But
the
you can
left,
get your
one of the officers
ideas
told me,
clearly. Oh,
if I see the thing again,
Remember, he's
don't
very
call
young
him,
too.
just shoot him. And you can hear in the video. Here's the video.
If those 9-foot bees come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
So they left and we went inside the house and we started praying. As we're praying, you could hear a loud human-like scream in the backyard.
Boom. They started praying, and when they started praying, you could hear a loud human screaming in the backyard.
what I want to know, what I want him to do. I hope the other parts of this, he's gonna explain like.
Yes.
What happened to the ship? Where did these people go? Did government officials show up? That
He's gonna get all into that.
Yeah,
He
okay.
said he was the reason why he started he's really upset. He didn't want to come forward. They leaked his name because obviously it's a police report. And News 8, they came to interview them, and he says, I don't want anything to do with you guys. And they went ahead and did the story anyways. And he said, well, if you're gonna go ahead and do the story, don't show my face. They showed his face. That's how they found them. So now he's being completely harassed. They're offering him millions of dollars
To
and
shut
not
up?
to interview, and he won't do it. He's like, I just want to go back. He's like, we're Christians. I just want to go back to normal life. Leave me alone. He says he's having nightmares.
So are you saying, do you think this is demonic or just evil in energy, or that the fact that they would pray and then you hear screams, so it's like something fighting it? But if they were evil in nature, I think they would have attacked them, right? Wouldn't you? When you say that, like they would have showed aggression in some
I
way.
mean, like sometimes the lions won't attack you because they're not sure what they're looking at,
Sure.
like a mountain lion. Like they're just.
Yeah, but they do have. But any prey animal will have the natural instinct to at least show some bluffs.
That's what he did. This is why they ran back. They got they were getting close. They had guns, and they jumped and they ran backwards. And then the dad closed the gate. And he says in the
So they left and we went inside the house and we started praying. As we're praying, you could hear a loud human-like scream in the backyard.
And that would fuck you up, man. Just like, I'm trying to like really just step foot in that space and just like,
I want
your
you to
brain would just you would not
feel all this.
Yeah, dude.
Go through it.
Your brain wouldn't fucking. It would just like you would be. He probably said he was in paralysis because his brain's literally can't figure out what it's looking at. It's putting it all together, you know.
Yeah.
In your brain, you're just frozen. Like, am I looking at this? And then of course fear is gonna come over you. It has to, because your brain's gonna be like, okay, well we don't know what this is. Let's make him scared, so he runs away. So it's a natural instinct to run away. Fuck, man. But there's not a chance that I wouldn't have been so ready with my phone. I know I've been scared, but like, there's no fucking way you're not like, okay, I'll say if they got into the yard like that and one of them had the phone on already, yeah, there has to be more footage of it.
There is more footage.
What?
So you see how he started screaming.
So they left and we went inside the house and we started praying. As we're praying, you can hear a loud human like scream in the backyard. This is what happened to me on May 1st, 2023. I hope you guys kind of understand what happened to me.
Oh, I thought they were gonna have some footage of the scream.
And it's kind of going viral. That's why I'm here to explain the story. I did an interview with journalist Doc Papa. I'm gonna put his video in the description. I'm going to make a part 2 of the stuff that happened after May 1st. And thank you for watching the video.
Now, I can't find the interview with Doc Papa. I don't know who Doc Papa is.
Neither do I. I'm telling you, all the conspiracy shit came out, started like in my early 20s.
Okay.
That's when all YouTube basically popped out in 2016. Then probably around like 18, 19, I think the conspiracy videos started coming, but they didn't, I feel like they didn't hit until, man, what year would that be if I was like 20, 21? Because then I started especially like around 22, 23, because I remember I was dating my ex Nikki, and there was one night where I spooked myself. I learned too much shit, and I lived about aliens, and I watched this video that caught me just right, and like legit had to shut it off. Like, it was scaring me.
What's up, everybody? Another episode of Karen's Kids Podcast. This is episode number 43 or 2.
No, 40. It's 43. I was just saying peace.
Oh, okay. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? Good to see you. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Season 2.
Right. We've been slacking on this. Sorry.
No, not really.
Sorry to our fans. The few that we got. Yeah, we have been busy. And life, Friday, we do got to figure out maybe a different day than Friday night.
Yeah, I definitely
for
have
energy
a different
level
kind of
purposes,
today.
right, dude? Like, fuck. Usually we're dead ass tired.
I feel ready for the world right now.
Right? Yeah, breathing exercise was nice, right?
Oh yeah, we came in here, we did a breathing exercise.
Listen, if you guys don't know who Wim Hof is, do some research. That man will change your life with breathing techniques.
Yeah,
dude's ran. He did the Himalayas in just boxers.
Yep.
No socks.
Jumps in freezing cold water and heats his body up.
All from breathing. He's all from breathing. And he swears by the cold plunge. Embrace the cold, he says. Breathe, motherfucker, breathe.
That's what he says.
I think. I don't know if it's breathe, motherfucker. I think it is motherfucker.
I think you might be confusing Wim Hof with...
It's not David Goggins.
Yeah.
No, I think it is just breathe, motherfucker. No. It's something like that. He has a little slogan, whatever. That's how much I know about him. Anyways.
Okay.
But listen, I read a little crazy ass story, dude.
Okay.
Put your mind in this.
Okay.
A father faked his own death to the point where he had a ceremony. He had all the people show up at his funeral. Then he shows up and he says his reason was to have his family appreciate him more.
What a narcissist.
Okay. How? First off, I didn't read like the whole depths of the story. I know that is the bullet points, and I was like my mind just went 1,000 places.
Yeah.
I was like, first off, if you're the wife, do you divorce the motherfucker? Like, how does that work? How do you
listen? If you go to that extreme to find out how much people care for you, right. You're doing all of the wrong things.
Right, dude. I was thinking about like the trauma you put your family through.
Bro,
is it even? How do you bounce back from that?
You don't. You know what happens? You know what? There's a law out there. It's called double jeopardy. You shoot him, right, and then have him die for real.
And
because he died for you, anyways.
And I wonder if like they lost money on the ceremony and.
Oh, like he will never get life insurance ever.
Well, I think he just.
How many people do you think are going to come to his real funeral, him crying wolf like that?
Dude, that'd be so bananas. And I wonder,
is this a real?
Yeah, no, it's a real story for sure. I didn't just make it up. But do you think it even worked? Do you think like now they're going to treat him better?
No.
It's going to leave a stain like you fucking
it's gonna
sicko.
Yeah.
That's a psychopathic move.
Yeah, that is 100% a narcissist. How... You want to see who cares, dude? You're doing all the wrong things.
Oh, I wonder if you got like flowers catered.
Sure. All of it. There was those funeral cookies. People were making funeral jokes like,
I wonder
don't talk too loud, he can hear us.
I wonder if the wife started trying to make in her insurance claims and
yeah, of course. Yeah. That's the first thing a wife would
And I
do.
wonder if she was a stay at home, like didn't work. Now she's like, oh my God, I've never worked a day in my life. Now I have to fucking feed these 3 kids.
All right, this is 2023. That doesn't happen.
Oh, there's still a lot of stay at home moms.
How old was this guy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, I didn't go too deep. I just like the core chunk of I just love that idea.
So this could be all made up, really. You just read the title.
I bet you we can Google it. Go ahead.
All right.
But I'm pretty positive that I read it on Google. You know how Google will just give you a bunch of weird little headlines?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I get some random ass shit. But that's just it's so fucking funny. There was another thing that I thought was crazy. Oh my God.
But that is insane.
Okay, I know you're into animal shit, right?
Always.
Have you watched Our Planet Netflix?
No.
Dude, oh my God, there's so much cool shit. But there was one that kind of stood out. There's actually a couple that stood out to me. But one is about these bald eagles and how it hunts these geese.
Oh, okay.
So these huge flocks of geese will fucking collect, right?
Okay.
And I forgot the exact reason why they don't. So how the eagle hunts them is he waits there into a big group, then he scares them, and when they get scared, they all fly in a frenzy.
Okay.
So in the midst of all the crazy frenzy, a lot of the geese get hurt. They'll break a leg. They'll break a fucking wing.
Oh.
And that's when the eagle gets them. So it doesn't even get them. He scares them into injuring themselves.
Wow.
I thought that I was like, fucking, that's so smart.
That is very, very, yeah.
Right? And so it's just easy pickings. He goes, boop, and gets the motherfucker.
Yeah, that's real smart. That's like Conor McGregor with the fight
Yeah,
game. He's
right?
like, I'm gonna injure him, his mental, and then I'm gonna go after him.
I've been thinking about that because the more, of course, I'm fucking all medicined up, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I sat super close to the TV. I was fucking like loving it. And I was like, man, if you really think about it, because there's so many birds and there's so much crazy, like we're all animals. So it's like you could probably learn about life more just looking at other animals.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was wild. And there's like this huge herd of buffalo that like go across like the whole fucking continent. And it was like this year was like the biggest amount of them. And there was like these 6 I think they were lions. Bro, they took down this buffalo in like 3 minutes, and they had it exactly. It was so cool how they hunted it. The one had to chase it while the others were fucking like, and then the females get it first. They slow it down essentially. They slow it down so the big boy lions can just fucking put all their weight on it, and they just fucking get it down, and they just start fucking eating it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool, man.
It is. It's crazy how they start eating them alive.
Oh, right. And thankfully these documentaries, they don't go into too much detail of the noises that this thing's probably fucking making for the next 3 minutes while these lions eat it alive, dude.
Yeah. So one of my favorite documentaries, I don't remember the exact name of it, but I watched it probably in like the early 2000s. It was about a lion, and his name was Intwai Dumela. The dopest ass name. The name means he who walks with fire. So this was the lion's name. Anyways, it shows his life from like just his whole journey in life, from a cub to like adult, and
that's cool.
How he fights to maintain his pride.
Right.
It's the coolest shit. And lions are amazing because like every other animal out in the wild is freaked out. They're like jittery, but a lion will sleep all fucking day.
Yeah, right.
He just doesn't care because there's nothing out there that can.
And he expends a lot of energy on those hunts. That's
Right.
what they.
Yeah,
for sure. I learned that too.
so he fucks 90 times a day. Sleeps.
They're real quick with it, right? They're like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't watch too much lion porn.
it's not about they're just like, it's not about pleasure. It's just about like, let's knock this one out.
Yeah, he's just trying to make more of them.
For sure.
He's just trying to make more of them.
All right, so they had this segment on bees.
Okay,
so I forgot what the name of the bee was, but it was basically just like, I think they were like yellow jacket, or they were honeybees, right?
Honey?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. So
when they have to find a new place to set up shop,
right,
they'll have like, so this colony, I don't know how, and that's the thing, they're like, oh, this colony of 30,000 bees. I'm like, how the fuck? What I guess is, are they taking a picture, zooming in on a square inch, literally counting them, and then fucking trying to figure out that way? Is that how they rough? That's the only way I feel like you can do it. You're not fucking.
It's just a rough estimate. They don't know that it's 30,000 to 1. And
so they'll send out scout bees, right? And these bees fly and they go, and what they're looking for is like holes in trees. Oh, okay. So they're like be a little knot, and there'll be like a nice little cave kind of thing. Yep. And they can't just pick any kind of cave. It's gotta be pointing the right way for the sun to hit it. Okay. It's in relation to the sun.
Right.
So these scouts go, once they figure out, this, so they I don't know how they got the footage of this. Maybe they knew that this was a good hole, and because they get a fucking shot of the inside. So it's like they're in the back of the cave looking, and then you can see the bee flying in, checking it out, checks all the walls, you can see, and then he goes back to the colony. Yeah. Once the scout gets back to the colony, he starts doing a dance. So he shakes his ass at the direction of the tree. Okay. Right? So once he's starting to get a dance, it gets a little buzz. And then once the colony realizes that somebody found a spot, they send second round of scouts to make sure this fucking bee's not on bullshit. Yeah. Right? So they send a few more scouts. They check it out. And then once they say, okay, no, this is legit, they go back. Then those scouts, all the scouts that went there, they have to touch all the bees and let them know where this place is at. Then they'll start dropping, they'll start going towards that tree. Once a few bees get in the tree, they stick their ass outside the hole and they send a pheromone. So all the ones that didn't get the message still know where to go, because they can't touch all of them. They just touch like maybe let's say 15 to 20% of them. Yeah. And then it's fucking wild, dude. Yeah. That's so wild. And then I'm thinking, like, how did we even? I mean, it's people's curiosity is the reason why we know shit like that. Right. It's like, because who would think to even just follow a bee and just figure all that out? And then that probably took months and months of like footage and analyzing and fucking just. I think that's cool shit.
Right. It's probably years of like somebody interested in bees. Like a lifetime, actually.
Right.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a whole language, right? And we usually, when you think about an animal, you think of he's just a stupid animal, it's just a stupid bug. But really, look at, they have such a complex life, and they twerk to be able to fucking give directions towards where the next real estate property that they're gonna fucking invest in is.
And it's interesting how they communicate, because they're definitely. It could be pheromones, it could be, sounds and maybe even vibrations, but I'd like to think there's some kind of like they're on a different wavelength and they could talk. Yeah,
for sure,
dude. There's this one, they showed this about these two ant colonies. There'd be like I don't know the name of the ants, but there's two different types, and when they gotta cross each other, like when they've just crossed each other's paths, they'll have soldier ants create a line like. This is South Korea, North Korea, how they fucking stare at each other.
Oh fuck!
And then they just make sure that nobody's fucking around with their colony, and you'll see the highway.
Damn, they create a border.
Yeah,
they're like, don't come this way, bitch.
No, it's just they'll have their fucking bouncers making sure everything's good.
Who decides that all this goes down?
That's what I'm saying.
So it's definitely these creatures all have a technology, a science. They have a language. Obviously, we don't understand it because we're not them, but they come from a consciousness. Mm-hmm. They have it. They have to have it.
They have to. Well, I mean, we're learning more and more about like flowers communicating with each other, trees communicating with each other, different parts of the earth. They could fucking give a area more nutrients or something.
How cool would it be if we end up figuring out exactly how to strategically use Chat GPT to be able to make these connections with animals, and now every one of us becomes the nutty professor, and we all are able to communicate with actual animals. Is that not like becoming a god? Right?
Tapping into whatever that wavelength is.
Whatever that consciousness is, to tap into and be able to be like, listen, lion.
I don't think I don't know. I feel like that's a technology that like fucking Halliburton would come out with, and then it just They create it. If I don't know, they're not going to give it to the masses.
Right, they probably won't.
I always, unfortunately, I always have to. It always going to end to that. I think the powers that be, they're not going to let us just be a free, great, happy, fucking zero, or like that energy, have free energy. Like they're not going to allow that shit.
Listen, somebody, some intelligence taught the nobility to rule over the small, which we are the small. They taught them to rule over us, and now they dominate everything. And of course, they always have their secrets, and they're not going to let us in on that.
Well, I like what Rogan said, and I think it sounds true.
Okay.
If there was a cataclysm accident,
sure,
asteroid, super volcano, and let's say the fucking 1 billion people turned down to 50,000, wow. Right? Like fucking almost wiped us out.
Okay.
Whoever's left is gonna be the bigger, stronger brutes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's so I have to take your resources. Jungle rules, as you mentioned once before.
Exactly. So imagine being set back like that, and then all that's being bred and fucking making it is Viking motherfuckers, you know, like because they
all the angry, the mean, the narcissists, the killers.
So you have to go through like it could be like literally hundreds of years of just finally things getting slowly better, because every time something gets better,
right,
you're instilling more nice, like you would, for all the woke people, I think their heart's in the right place, you know, like trying to make things more equal and better. I think like the idea is like it's skewed, it's fucked up, but I think it's kind of in the right direction. Every year, I think we just get nicer as a polite society, and we get more technologies.
I see what you're saying.
And in order for things to be good, like think about it, once you have to stop worrying about food as much and your safety, then you could do arts, and then you can have like more things like that, you know?
I see what you're saying. So the remnant survivors are the angry, mean, evil people. They breed angry, mean, evil children.
Right.
The society becomes barbaric.
Yeah.
And then these barbarians over time create a society of barbaric society and slowly create culture, and they start to breed out that barbarianism.
Well,
and then become like a working society where you're able to have art and peace and joy, right, and gay people and
right, and technologies and like
different technologies,
because I was thinking like if we, and that creates like a culture, right? Like that barbarianism was a culture, and it was the only thing that worked,
right?
And that just gets, and I think that's why we still have that in us. But that was full. That's how I was trying to connect that all. I think we still have that in us, because okay, hypothetically, let's say if we don't get wiped out for the next couple hundred, maybe couple thousand years,
right,
we're the beginning of that really nice society. But we still got the crazy monkey. We still got a little monkey in us. Fucking barbarianism, like let me rule, because we had to fight for resources. So that was the game. It was taking over your shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why it's still in us. I think we're heading in the right direction. There's a lot of distraction. There's a lot of fucking people saying that the world is ending and we're worse off than we've ever been, but yet somehow we're the wealthiest we've ever been.
It's not true.
Right. But
so let me just go back and say Joe Rogan has the absolute best monologues when it comes to like explaining that kind of shit that you just explained. I did hear him once say that he took that, you know, that image where it's a monkey and then the monkey starts to grow up, or the monkey starts to slowly evolve into a man, right? And then he says, if you continue that evolution on, where people are playing more video games now, things are more segmented towards like our vision and our thought process, right? Brain function, which we're learning more and getting more educated through the web, through online, through technologies. So you would go from an ape to a standing man, and then to losing your muscle because you're working behind a desk, looking at screens all the time, hairless because you don't go outside, you don't get the color on your body, vitamin D deficiency, your eyes start to grow because you're constantly looking at light, and then you lose muscle definition, your skin turns gray, your eyes get bigger, and your head grows from all the technology that you're feeding into your body over millions of years of evolution from going to an ape to a man and then to a gray. He laid that out. Yeah, he laid that out in a way where I was like, oh my God. And yeah, he has like,
and your brain get bigger. You could it's probably from downloading fucking so much information, your brain just starts getting bigger.
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah.
I mean, so
now you're talking about the alien, what would you say? Arrival?
Yeah, man.
Crash? Was it a could you label it a crash?
So in the story we're referring to is, this, I guess a UFO crash lands. Now, I don't think it crashed into the earth like it was going down. I think it might have been an emergency type of landing because there's not a bunch of indentations on the ground, although there is marks on the ground. But apparently a UFO had a crash landing, and this kid, I don't know, how old do you think he was? 15, 16?
No way. He's probably 22 years old.
Oh, shit. Whatever. My age. Way off.
Your age? Excuse me?
Yeah, right.
Your age?
But
he's 22. So I would say he's like 22.
So this guy, there's a 911 call of him saying he saw, there was a UFO, did he say he saw a craft in the yard?
No, he said he didn't see a craft. What he said was, I heard a noise.
You lay it out. I'm stumbling over this.
Okay, so what happens is a man in Las Vegas calls 911 frantically and says, I'm calling to report some 8 to 10 foot tall creatures in my backyard. And then the lady asks him, what do they look like? And he proceeds to say, I swear to God, this is not a prank or something like that.
Yeah, right.
And then says, they have big eyes and a big mouth and big heads. They look like aliens.
Right.
And she asks him, where are these creatures right now? He says, in my backyard.
Right.
Now,
2 of them.
How crazy is it that it's not on the news like it should be?
Right. You would think, so it did, it did make the news, but it should have been like a breaking now, stop all commercial, or like one of those emergency broadcast things.
Right.
It literally should have been that.
Like breaking news.
Is there anything more of a bigger story than, oh fuck, some out of space beings came here? It's like, that'd be the biggest story. It should be the biggest story. And I feel like this is for all and a whole family's seen it. And there's multiple, and so there's also footage from a police officer's chest cam. He was talking to somebody, and you could see the light. You see it. It goes and it flashes, and you can see it goes kind of straight down. And there's multiple witnesses, like the whole town. Now there's even ring footage. You can't see anything, but you hear the whistling of something slicing through the air and then crashing. You could see it and hear it. It's not like anything you've ever heard. So like you could tell it's not just like, I don't know, fucking a car hitting a garbage can or some shit.
Yeah, it's really insane that. So at the same time, I would say a few minutes before the kid makes the phone call to 911, as Dina was saying, there's a police officer down the road or just on the other side of town, and he has his body cam is on, and he's actually dealing with a call at the time when this light starts to fall from the sky. It looks like a meteor or a falling star, maybe.
Right.
It just looks like a light coming down from the sky.
Bluish in tint a little bit.
Definitely an intense bright light.
Yeah.
And it's coming down, and in the video, the police officer says, the body cam picks that up. And then while he's talking to the individuals at his, where he was called to do his police officer work, over the radio comes the 911 phone call about the kid having creatures in his yard.
Mm-hmm.
And the police officer says, "Did you just hear that? Am I hearing, is this what's happening?" And so all this goes down, and it's crazy that it's not like the thing that everyone should be talking about.
Why do you think that is?
A creature from another planet or realm, we have proof.
And they said 8 to 10 feet tall, right?
Yes.
And then slimy gray skin, right?
Yeah. So the kid goes on to say that they're 8 to 10 foot tall creatures in his yard.
So listen, it's totally normal, I think, to have your bullshit meter, fully engaged,
erect,
right? But I don't know. Why do you think? So why did the news cover any of it if they're not gonna? Or is it? Do you think it's literally just a few people's singular decision through the whole network? Like, hey, Fox, like, nah, we're not gonna cover. Some higher up is like, nah, fuck that, we're not covering alien shit, and that's the reason why it hasn't got plastered all over. Or do you think there's a knock on the door?
That's a very, very good question.
Because it literally could just be like 4 people's decision to not show it, and then nobody will know about it.
Yeah. I do think that that's the way things work, right? So we have this government, right? This government body, and right now they're pretending there are unruly kings. Like, there are these rulers that don't want us to have any information. They dictate exactly how we should act.
And what's interesting about those rulers is that they have to convince us that they're the rulers.
They have to convince us that they're
right?
the rulers.
That's the game.
Because the simple fact is they're just like me and you. Yeah.
We're the 99%.
So where did this come from?
I don't know. I don't know. Does that go back into our barbaric ways of like one brute ruled the many? So, but the followers figured, hey, we're eating more with this guy, even though we're fucking low on we're still better off with this guy.
Yep.
And has that always just been like an archetype?
So here's what I will say. It's very interesting that now we have an actual real phone call and video.
Sounds sincere too. Like if you hear the video,
Very
he doesn't
sincere.
sound like he's like on drugs and he's fucking giggling in the. It sounds. I have a pretty good bullshit meter, I would say, but okay. So then this kid makes a follow up. So there's Rogan.
Hold on, we'll get into that. Okay. So, but what I was trying to say is that. So we have this kid. He's very credible. I lost my train of thought. But anyways, so, the point that I was trying to make is that he says they look like the actual typical alien with the big black eyes and the big head.
But it goes against it because he says it's 8 to 10 feet though.
It's 8 to 10 feet, right?
Maybe those little ones are just drones though.
So what would you call something that's 8 to 10 feet tall? A giant.
Right.
Okay, so here, let me lay this out for you really quickly.
Lay it out for me, Papa.
So, there have been civilizations before ours. It's obvious. We have the Egyptians, right? Before the Egyptians, we have the Samaritans, right? That's as far back as we can go because we have actual written text from Samaritans. They have actual texts that tell out the story of the Great Flood.
Floods, yep.
There were rulers before us, but who told them that they can rule over us? Okay, there's the idea of the barbarians, right? But how about this idea? Now, there is a book that was taken out of the Bible. It's one of the forbidden books. It's called the Book of Enoch. It's a very interesting book, and we know that the book should go where it should be in the Bible, because the Bible makes reference to that book or to that guy. And what it says is Enoch was a good man, and it says, and he was, then he wasn't, which means he just disappeared. There's another guy in the Bible named Elijah. He is taken up by a chariot of fire. Now, if you live in ancient times and you have no word to describe an airplane or a saucer or anything in the sky, all you can describe it as is a chariot or a vehicle made of fire. And it says that he was taken up into the sky in a whirlwind by a chariot of fire. That to me sounds a lot like an abduction. Right.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. And then Enoch was, and then he wasn't, since God took him away. What if what we're dealing with, right? What if what we're dealing with is the Bible, a library of books of a story that's incomplete, but it's incomplete because they don't want us to complete the story. And what if the story goes something like this? Fallen angels, aliens, come down from heaven onto a mountain. The mountain is Mount Hermon. They make a plan up there to be able to take these hominids that are on the planet and mix their DNA with our DNA. Now, the book of Enoch says the angels came down to Mount Hermon and they made a plan to have sex with women. The children of those women were born giants. They were the Nephilim. No, it's really crazy because the Bible speaks
or something like that.
The Nephilim.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Those were giants. Now, supposedly these giants, now, if you have these fallen angels, right? Let's just say they're the Greys with the big head.
What is that? Oh, it's your thing.
Yeah, that's this thing. So we have these alien Greys with the big giant head, right? And they come down to our planet. They mix their DNA with human DNA. They create this other species, right? And it talks about it. Babylon, the story of Babylon is that. Babylon is a Samaritan culture. So it talks about this. Now, what if the Garden of Eden was a clinic that did hybridization between human beings and aliens? Now, think back. Then there was a cataclysm, right? Let's think about a cataclysm and everybody dies off. We just have this small little group. We have actual skulls of people who binded their head to change the shape change their shape.
Right, to look like that.
Now, why would they bind their head? And the only people that would bind their head were nobility and royalty. Now, why would they? So now we've said before on the podcast that any technology that is greater than what you've ever seen, we could mistake it for magic.
Right.
Okay? Or a power. Or godlike.
Right.
So what if these creatures that came down had powers that we've never seen before, or just technology that we had never seen before? So we did see them as gods. They enslaved us. They were the ruling class. They were an imposter gods. They were imposter gods, because we know there were many of them. And then the Greek people come in and they tell stories about the giants, Zeus.
Right.
They tell all these stories about the giants, right? All this, right? Zeus, all the all the Olympians, right?
Right.
Okay, and they had children, right? All this Cyclops and everything. What if they're also telling a story that they didn't live through, but it's passed down orally, of a time that we no longer remember? We have amnesia to these beliefs,
right?
So people, the nobility, royalty, changing the shape of their head so they could be able to rule us. Going down the line, they had access to these documents, stone documents, and they created this life story about how they're the
chosen ones.
So they say they're the chosen people, right? Now, what if what I'm saying, people have figured it out through time? Because they put the other stories of other ancient people together, and they come up with the same idea. Because if you think about it, today our ruling class are The Democrats and the Republicans. Who put them in charge? Why are they in charge? How come they don't want us to know about stuff? What if these creatures who came down posed as God and said they were God, tricked us into working for them, created this society throughout generations, right? Genealogy all the way down, and somebody as wise as Jesus, right? Now here's what's really interesting about Jesus. Jesus, when he was born, 3 magicians came to see him. What if these are rulers from other places that pretend that they're gods, right? Because they have technology that's greater than ours, we look at them as magic, right?
Sure.
So why did magicians come to see Jesus? What does magic have to do with being Christian or Jewish? Or at the time, it was the Jewish people, right? Because Jesus was born a Jew, grew up as a Jew, died as a Jew. So what if these people who came to see him were like, this is, a lot of the things are lining up like this, I guess, these prophecies are lining up. Jesus, right? At a very young age, he was reading. It said that at 12 years old, he goes into a synagogue teaching that even the adults are like, who is this child? And the mother goes in and grabs him. Joseph grabs him and takes him out. And he's like, let's get out of here. He was so smart. He was a genius child. What if he was able to put this information together that fallen angels or the stars came down, posed as fake gods, came to our planet, tricked us, enslaved us, told us that here, this money, this mine for gold, it's the hardest thing to mine for. There's not that much of it. We'll tell them that you can't do anything unless you have a little bit of this and bring it to us. And what if what happened was Jesus figured this out because he was a student of ancient knowledge. What if he figured out that aliens came down, they posed as gods, and they started telling everybody, including the ruling class, and the ruling class who had secret knowledge of all the old books were like, hey, you can't be telling people, because if you tell them that we ain't shit and we're just posing as gods with different names,
Right.
then society's gonna break down. And if you do this, we can have society break down. We'll lose our power. And instead of losing their power, Jesus says, listen, God put the power in you. You are the church. You are awesome. God said, you are the head and you are the heel. Heaven and hell.
Do you think that's what some of these secret societies
Yes.
are? It's like that little bit, and they're all fractured off because there's other people who had bits and pieces. They just had a little bit of, this society had this little bit of knowledge. We're actually 2 million years old. We've been wiped out. We got down to, that's what I think. I think like there is that knowledge out there.
Yeah.
And man, there's in the ruling class, I'm sure they learn things all the time, and it just gets shelved.
Think about it. They're the richest. They're usually the most educated, and they have access to
because they have all the knowledge, and then you could manipulate the masses by the knowledge that you have.
It's a chess game.
Yeah,
they have the better chess pieces.
And we always say they, and it's always like sounds like real broad.
Let's just call it the ruling class.
There is a ruling class for sure. I mean, there's
the fake gods.
Somehow we've allowed business people, corporations to write our laws. So it's like we're in this so basically the top corporations are really they. When we say they, it's like the people who pay off all the fucking Congress and shit to make sure certain laws and shit get passed, and we're all the ones who get fucked. It's like this whole...
Listen, America, this is what America is. America is an experiment. What kind of experiment? It's the only experiment that the people, through the structure of America, doesn't actually have a ruler. We are our very own self-governing machine. And so many rulers, kings, men, just men, want to come in and take over and actually become the king of this country. A dictator. A dictator is just another word for somebody who rules over you, right? A false god. Maybe that's what Jesus was talking about when he talked about the false gods. There shall be no false god before me.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, they get confused with the whole thing with the Bible is, I think they want to take a lot of things literal. I don't think you're supposed to take words, especially
the ruling class wants you to take it literal.
Exactly.
But if you come,
you just see like like all the religions, like they kind of have the same kind of nuggets of shit, of like the same kind of, I don't know, qualities, the same kind of storylines. There's always like,
and Jesus spoke really carefully. He said, "I'm the truth, the light, and the way." He was really careful. They would ask him questions to try to trick him into getting canceled or committing a crime with his words. And he would speak in parables because he was really careful. He would tiptoe into things to make the person think. It was almost like this.
That's also your flavor on it, though, too.
It is my flavor. That's all I can put into it. Yeah. This is all my flavor. But it's the one thing that I can make sense with.
Yeah. Why isn't it a big story? I just think that...
Why gold, dude? Why gold?
That's interesting. Yeah, I thought I learned like a little bit of history on gold, because gold, like the idea of gold chains and gold scepters, like that was... Like, who came up? I forgot. It was for a ruling thing. I forgot, like, the answer.
Why a scepter? Why a wand?
Yeah.
Maybe it was a tool that an ancient...
They saw... It's been...
Maybe it was a technology that they held. The actual false gods who came down, these aliens who came down, maybe it was a tool that they had, and now we pretend... Or Moses was pretending with his staff.
Right. We asked the question, why isn't it...
bigger?
All over... And I think it's just that. I think it's like the top news. I'm sure, okay, the news organizations, like the people at the top, they get, hey, I got this story. And I guarantee, like, there's people in the office, like the heads of the people, there's certain subjects and certain stories they got to make a phone call for. Hey, this came across. Is this something that we could talk about? And if everyone started legit having a conversation about aliens and blah blah, they're coming here, then the military has to answer for shit. They're not gonna fucking want to do that.
Right.
That's why. So it's like it just gets shut down. It's like, no, we're not. And it's still, although me and you and a lot of like younger people were on board with the idea, but it is like my mom would still easily brush it off. It's still
that's what they want.
Exactly.
It's the 40% that don't care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not gonna post it all over the place because there's too many unanswered questions. And then we'd have to we're not gonna explain to the world about our defense systems.
Yeah.
Like they're just not gonna do that. So it's a I've said it before. It's a mathematical impossibility for there not to be aliens. But are they coming here, or do we have secret agreements? That's the interesting questions. If there's aliens,
prove to me they're not coming here.
Right.
Because we have plenty of proof that says that they are.
Right. And so this kid, he did a part 1. So the video, it's just him. See,
he's basically just talking.
He's reading something he wrote down, which I don't like. I feel, but you bring up a point. He maybe just socially awkward, doesn't know how to talk. Maybe wanted to clearly write it out instead of rambling. But I would have preferred more of a rambling, just free thought. Like, okay, this is what I saw. Oh yeah, and then I saw this. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's reading it, and then he's gotta move the screen, and then he's like reading, and he could not even read. I'm sure he read it 50 times. He still couldn't read it clearly, but So they show a little, because everyone would be like, well, why didn't fucking whip your phone out, right? Why isn't there like a clear? Because everyone, would, including myself, the first thing I said, I don't know, because you're not in the situation. I'm sure your brain is firing all types of fucking. If you saw a creature, especially bigger than you, anything bigger than you're automatically scared of, but like you're staring at this thing, and he says. He was like in a moment of paralysis, like he was stuck. And what I think, my interpretation is like, your brain is so confused looking at a fucking thing that like your forebrain is like, oh yeah, that's an alien. But like your brain, and then it's like, what? I think it's doing all these calculations like that. And it's literally, you're paralyzed because it's your brain's like fucking high wired. It's like, oh, what am I looking at?
Right.
And so I'm sure that's why like there's not a fucking straight up. I'm the way I think, I was like, 9 times out of 10 I have my phone in my pocket. You get scared, you see something wild, like it wouldn't be that hard to whip your fucking phone out. But if all that's going through your mind, you're trying to figure out what you're looking at, you're scared, this thing's big. There's 100% of people who would be scared. There's no way you're not scared. So when you're stressed out, you can't really think too well. But they did run, so there is some footage. So there is a footage of the family like at the gate, and the footage is current with the creature being in the backyard, but you don't see the creature. You just see that he was about to walk up and film it, but I think the family got scared and they didn't let anyone go through the gate and like pushed everyone back. So it was a quick little clip. So there was a part 1, assuming there's going to be a part 2, hopefully a part 3 or whatever. But I have like bazillion. Apparently this kid didn't want to do any interviews, but he did do one interview with one person, which we can't find. And I guess apparently news organizations, all types of people that try to throw money at the kid. He doesn't want the attention. I'm sure he's gotten all type of already crazy shit, and maybe the Men in Black already knocked on his door. Who knows? Like if you want to even believe
he has mentioned that.
So there's definitely a fucking organization that checks in on the more serious fucking accusations of like, or not accusations is the word, but the claims of seeing ships and shit. I don't know. So I would think so. He shows the backyard. He shows a perfect. It's not a perfect circle. It's like a perfect like lens looking thing. It's not like I don't know, but I would think like I hope the part 2 explains like, okay, these 2 creatures got back in the vehicle. They didn't talk about a vehicle. Maybe it was invisible. I don't know. Maybe they have a cloaking thing.
So what he did say is when he walked into the yard, after he heard he was working on a car. After he heard the noise, what happened was his yard went blurry, but not his eyes. It was just the yard that went blurry. And when that happened, he was like, what's happening? And what's really crazy about the video, the mom is filming, and while she's filming, they all have guns.
Right.
They all have guns.
And I'm surprised one of them didn't, I don't know. But do you think that change in atmosphere, whatever that thing was, what if that's like a defense mechanism the alien does that works on their planet? We see it as blurry, but on their planet, maybe it's like a pulse that pushes, I don't know, I'm making something up. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe they...
So I had this thought, right? We have rope light.
Rope light?
Yeah, we have rope light.
What's that?
It's like a light that there's a bunch of little light bulbs, like LED lights, inside of a rope. Mm-hmm. Like LED lights, string lights, right? Mm-hmm. We have that technology. Mm-hmm. And like whenever you get a new technology, it's usually something big and clunky. And later on, they start to minimize it, get smaller, tighter. Now, cloaking technology. Have you ever used, I recently sprayed car paint. I was working on some cabinets and I was spraying car paint on them. And so I picked up the filter to be able to filter the paint. And it's this cardboard funnel. Mm-hmm. But at the edge of the funnel at the bottom, there's a mesh on there. But that mesh is so small and so tight, I literally thought there was no mesh in it. I picked it up and I was like, whoa. I touched it and to see, there is a mesh in there. I thought it was completely open.
Right.
So I was thinking, what if you could get light ions or some type of light technology so small that you could fit it into this mesh and then you wear the mesh. And the mesh is just a screen that copies whatever's behind you, but not you. And if you wear this, inside those tiny little strings, You could reflect the color just like a television does with pixels. If this is a flexible light mesh that fits over you like a uniform, almost like a bodysuit, right? Like a skin suit. Because we know fabric is made out of mesh. But what if the mesh is made out of tiny lights like pixels on a television? Would you be able to take a camera and reflect whatever's behind you in front of you as you move? Would that not be considered technology or cloaking technology?
There is a lot of shit you could look on YouTube. They do have cloaking stuff, but it is certain angles. It's not 360. Right. So they can put something in front that literally deflects the light, so it spreads, so it looks like there's nothing there, so it could spread the light out.
They do that with mirrors in the army.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's just like little shit. So I don't know. You know, you can go. I just saw. There's a lot of YouTube videos. There's people they're using night vision, and you're seeing a lot more in the sky.
I don't want to get away from this because I want to show you these aliens. I want to show you a video that shows you entities inside of the vehicle.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, show that one. Okay. I don't know if I'm familiar. I think I do. You see two of them or something like that, right?
Okay, but so let's just watch this. I'll edit this.
Yeah. What is that?
Okay, hold on.
Is that the Las Vegas recent one?
Yes, this is it.
Oh shit! Because he said it's by the forklift.
Yeah, so they're inside. I wish I could make this bigger.
Why the fuck is she wearing a mask, dude? What the fuck? To make a fucking video?
Fuck this bitch.
Oh my god! Don't even get me fucking started on it.
Hey,
people tell me that. Why does it bother me so much? How does it affect you? Why does people wearing a mask? I don't know why it bothers me still, but it bothers me that people still wear masks.
Here's another angle.
Yeah, dude. See, they're not showing this shit.
No. That is a different body cam from a police officer.
Oh,
on a different angle.
Got you. And there's more colors in that one. I mean, listen, you can
fallen star.
Yeah, you can say you can make the argument that it could be a shooting star, but it does look like that a little bit. But not. There's too much other shit happening.
Okay, here's another thing. Angel right here comes out and he says, because the news has been saying that they can't find them, the people are missing. He just says in this video, he says, I'm not missing. We're still home. The news is lying. And he says, the one thing that I learned is do not believe anything the news says.
Right.
Because they told him, the reason why he says that is because he says, don't show my face. And you could talk about whatever you want. And what they did was they ended up showing his face and giving his name.
Oh, well, maybe the news said they disappeared to give him peace.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That's an argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to give you... Okay, here's a video that came out. This thing has fucking wings.
That bullshit meter's going off.
Okay. Boom.
I can't hold on. First off, my dumbass, I don't have my glasses on. That's part one.
Let's get close to the TV. We're gonna walk away from here for a second. Get close to the TV because I need to draw this out for you. Here's an eye, here's an eye, okay? This one is facing forward. This one, here's the mouth, is facing back. Here's the eye, facing this way.
It's looking like that way? Yes. So that's like a nose kind of thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Here's the head, this is the head, here's the eye. This would be where the nose would be, here's the mouth, there's the jaw area.
Wait, draw it out again?
Yeah,
because this doesn't look much different than something over here.
Okay, here's what I'm going to draw it. Right here.
This isn't it. Oh, all this black is it.
This is what you're seeing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
here's the eye.
Yeah.
Now here on this side, you see this. It's blurry. That's them. This is what he's seeing. Now, interesting. Right here in front, I saw, right here in front, I don't know if it's a light thing, but you can see this. right here in front. I'm trying to find the video to show you that. Let's go through the video.
Yeah, no, play it again. I want to see it played.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna just play it and I'm gonna get the volume up and everything.
Me dicen pálpale, hay que utilizarle con camisas. Pero ellos no usan, ellos no usan.
De vuelta casi luz, de vuelta casi cayó con dos y luz.
Ni comni, si pero para el. Si no se para si para colar.
Hora me que cantes París le gallengue a la chorsi, hora. Entonces. ¡Ay! ¡Permisar! Calmungarela, me cancines var eso. Cailo, cherro, que chile. Cailo, cherro. Cailo.
Uy, chetar.
Chile, cao.
Viendo para acá.
Cai.
Anda el camión, los conchadicas del camión. Era segundo, de izquierda para acá, de cables.
Cai, cherro, chile, cao, la del.
El concho, costelo, concho, sisitilo.
Cai, forklift o camión.
Eso es muy. Castelo, pegachari, palalo, que te acordó con la. Palalo, dile que a casa de hombre indique. Bien un show, o sea, pegachari, se adolo.
Chile, cao, la del.
Vaya, me dijo, dale completico.
Thank you.